Whew. All right. I'm alive. Okay, everyone, just calm down. I've made it. I've somehow survived. The chip has been consumed, and I'm back to my normal state. This is the Valorant First Strike Close Qualifiers presented by Nerd Street Gamers. My name is Bach. Joining me on the broadcast, Doug and Simo, trying to close out the day as these two teams fight for their chance to continue on here in the bracket. But both teams have already qualified to be playing in the regional event with Riot in just a couple of weeks moving into December. 100 Thieves pick up the big win on map number 1. Walk me through what happened here, Simo. Is it really all that surprising, or did 100 Thieves stick to a game plan that we expected them to see to deploy?
I mean, some of the wording that I kind of struggled with in the pregame was that on bind, Hiko is the scariest person that you could be up against when it pertains to his Sova play, and we saw that there was a round where he just used everything on the tool belt, and he almost ended up with an ace somehow, some way. And you know, watching Hiko play on stream, he plays a variety of different agents, but the Sova is not something I tend to see a whole lot of, and it surprisingly fits so well with this team. You've got Steel trying to lead some of that charge with the Killjoy, the ultimate, that utility. Nitro putting his team in position with the paranoias and the smokes, but ultimately it does boil down to, I think, Hiko's prowess, the support from Nitro and Steel, but then this combination of Asuna and Dicey. We saw some of it at Immortals. I think it was more so Dicey than Asuna in that roster. But this is just like they're tag teaming, double peeking together, fighting for control of the middle. It's crazy. But one thing, I don't know if I'm allowed to flip a question back to you, but I'm just curious.
Oh, you can.
What do you think about this jet pick from Sinatra? Would the Phoenix have helped out a little bit more, or was that not even the problem?
You know, I think to a certain extent we talked about it coming into the series, right? You know, this is a seeding match. So what will teams decide to do? Will they try to shake things up? Will they say, hey, you know, we've theorized whether or not this setup would work for us. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. I don't think they're not trying. I just think to a certain extent they're putting new things into play and seeing how it sticks. This is the perfect time to do it. Yeah. Because ultimately, again, they did qualify already. And I think if you're a team as good as Sentinels is, you're not really concerned with what your seeding is coming out of this. So yeah. I think it's a good time for them to try it. And especially if you think, hey, even if we lose map number 1, I think we can bring it back on 2 and 3. So let's try this and see what happens, and we'll see how it breaks down. Let's go ahead and pull up the stats, though, so we can see how it broke down, just to get an idea of what the numbers looked like with Sinatra on that jet roll. And I mean, it didn't work. It definitely was not ideal. As you can see, Sinatra sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard, but Doug, same time, so is Dapper, sitting at 8 and 18. And again, Steel struggling as Killjoy. The stats maybe not as bad as Dapper and Sinatra, to the effect that you would expect those players to be a little bit higher up on the scoreboard traditionally. But Steel's Killjoy play, should we be concerned about that? Should we hope that they maybe switch things up? Or do we think that it's just, you know, potentially just being in the wrong place at the wrong time too many times for Steel?
No, I really do think that for Steel, he's doing exactly what 100 Thieves need him to do, right? He's not necessarily being asked to frag out over everyone else. He can do that, as we saw in the series against TSM, but that's not what he's being asked to do. His role on the team is far more supportive, much more focused around using the utility in order to unlock the map for 100 Thieves. So I think it's fine, right? Like, he is very good on the Killjoy. He's doing exactly what 100 Thieves need him to do. He's not going to light up the scoreboard, and honestly, that's fine.
Yeah, I want to say this because this is something that we had touched upon in the past when looking at other teams. You know, I think a lot of people expected better performance from certain players, but weren't really able to appreciate the roles and how those roles end up kind of resulting in weaker scores for certain players. One that really comes to mind was in the early days of TSM when you had Cutler consistently lower on the scoreboard, but he was playing a Cypher role back then. And, you know, the Cypher's job is not to go out and get kills, it's to go out and get information. And to a certain extent, that's a Killjoy's job. The Killjoy is the one that's supposed to be there to tell the team, hey, they're pushing, they're moving into position, hey, they're trying to take the site, and then backpedal and go for a retake. You're not necessarily going to be finding kills on an attempted push. And then on offense, those agents are severely handicapped because their kit does not work in an aggressive manner. You can't really use the turret aggressively. The best thing for the turret is to set it up and watch the flank. But the toolkit just does not play well when you're trying to advance. It's better when you're sitting on defense, and even on defense, it's not something that's going to stack up kills. That's why it was so surprising to see in that previous series when they played on Ascent and Steel top fragged on that map. That's the kind of thing that shouldn't necessarily happen with the Killjoy, and it doesn't happen all that often. But I digress. Now we are moving into Split, map number 2. That is Sentinels pick, and it's a map that they've been good at in the past, but they have a little bit of an interesting agent composition. One of the few teams still running Sage. The question is here, Simo, will we actually see that Sage come out? Because again, we mentioned it. Are they going to go with a gamble and kind of change up the agent composition and try something different? Who knows?
Yeah, I think the Sage stays, to be quite honest. It all depends on, I think, if anything else will come in. Will we see a Viper? We haven't seen a whole lot of that from the Sentinels, and we usually see that starting to come to the forefront with other Tier 1 and Tier 2 orgs. But ultimately, I think the Sage sticks just because of how useful it is in cutting off rotations, especially on the attack and the defense.
Well, I think we are just about ready to jump into the action here as we kick things off on map number 2. It is Split. That gets us going into map number 2 with 100 Thieves coming in surprisingly up 1-0. Doug, Simo, it's all yours.
Thank you, Bach. It is finally time to get into Split. Simo, one of the things that we were discussing in the pregame was the Jet on Sinatra and, kind of what that means and why are they showing different looks. I think one of the important things to keep in mind too is that these are not just scrim reps, right? Like these are good reps, high stakes reps against a very good team. So a good a time as any to whip some of that out. Sinatra not on the Jet this time, is going to go back to the trusty Raze, and it looks like Sentinels on the attacking side have already taken a bit of damage and are getting pushed away from B.
Yeah, 100 Thieves had an aggressive look towards the garage, and guess who was there with that aggressive look? Yep, you guessed it. It's Asuna and Dicey that were trying to force the issue. Unfortunately, they don't force it well enough, and I wonder if Sentinels have forgotten who pairs up with Asuna and why he was he had nobody there to help him. Well, yeah, that's right. Because it's Dicey coming in from behind, finds the frag there onto Zombs, and now it's Sentinels in a really weird position. Where do we go? We have the wall that's walled off, at least for the side, but they can't come in from the stair side, but Dicey's coming in from the garage. Sentinels need some form of control to regain the site.
Yeah, they've really pinched themselves in and haven't left themselves very many options on different ways to go. They got the spike down, and they're going to assume some of their post-plant positions, but they are outnumbered here. Oh, Shazam's going to get a chance at Nitro. That's such a big kill. Nitro getting that is huge for 100 Thieves.
Yep. Dapper as well, also falling sick. The Battle Sage will feel some of that pain. Takes out Dicey, but 3 members remain here for the 100 Thieves. So I saw a discussion on Twitter. Is it 100 Thieves? Is it 100 Thieves? 100 Thieves is the org. 100 Thieves is a bunch of thieves looking for your lunch money. Shout out to Riv for that funny little... I don't even know what to call that, but it's hilarious. 100 Thieves, though, won the first round. Now, to be fair, we don't have a lot of reps from 100 Thieves on Split. Didn't get a chance to play it in the open qualifier, and the only time they played it in the closed qualifier was against C9, and, well, you know how that went. 13-8 the finish. And really, it was just the defensive side for 100 Thieves to keep them alive. This time, we're going to get a little bit of a different look, but because we don't have a big sample size, there's a lot we don't know about how 100 Thieves play this map.
Oh, geez. Look at how they're doing it again. A very aggressive push all the way through, up to B. Just on the other side of the spike, Nitro has been taken out, and the spike is having to jet away. They're going to have to run back towards mid, and this is exactly what we saw in the last round. The pursuit of Dicey and Asuna forces Sentinels away.
Yeah, but look at that. Steel's on the site. He's going to be playing a very interesting angle as well, while the rest of the team's starting to funnel through. Asuna and Dicey hard chasing their opposition, but Steel just trying to survive. Oh my goodness! The entire team takes apart the Sentinels. They had momentary control of the A site, but sick. Now the last player standing, his heal is not going to, of course, heal him back up to full, but he may be just trying to stay alive. Just trying to maybe find a pick on the way out. It's Steel that'll take him down. A solid round from 100 Thieves. They find themselves the second round conversion. Don't lose too many members in the process. But as you know, this is the opportunity for the Sentinels to come back here and now.
We've seen that aggressive push through B twice now from the boys over in blue. Sentinels have not been able to respond. They've been pushed away every single time. They have not responded to the aggression with force of their own. They're poised that way again, but it looks like 100 Thieves are actually going to be giving a bit of the same medicine, but from a different location here. Look at how aggressively they're working the way at mid. Asuda's going to spot Dicey, and Dicey's actually going to get the first kill. Or excuse me, yes, Dicey's going to get the first kill on a Shazam.
Man, there were a lot of question marks around the Sentinels' performance in the open qualifier. You know, did they give it their best against Gen G? Gen G, a very convincing win, 2-0. But since Sentinels have had to qualify, they've been dominating their opposition. And now that they've qualified, is there a possibility that they're letting up some of that steam? Or 100 Thieves, are they really that good? I think it's a little bit of both, if I'm going to be honest, because this Thieves roster has really impressed us throughout the entirety of today. Sick, unfortunately, getting that spike down. The aftershock is going to injure him temporarily. But now it's just going to be pandemonium on the site. Sentinels are going to be able to hold off this defensive retake. It's all down to Hiko and company to see if they want to go for exits or if they want to fight the battle.
Oh, Zom's getting flashed up in heaven. Nitro, meanwhile, down low, is able to deal plenty of damage, as is Nitro and Hiko. They all get in on the action. Sick, watching the spike. See a Katapa Hiko. He's going to be forced to back up. That's a brutal situation to be in if you're Sick. Nitro with a 3K on the round. 100 Thieves are going to be up by 3.
I just want to say one thing. That we saw that play earlier today. When did we see that play? It was Sabrosa. He teleported in. He set down a smoke. He teleported in, found a frag, teleported out, and boom, he was safe. Right? We just saw that same play from Nitro. He sets down a smoke, teleports in, and you don't know how he's going to play that. Is he going to pull back? Is he going to pull forward? Is he going to go left? Such a confusing play, but it works so much. I'm imagining Sean Garris watching this right now and just saying the Broman is popping off. Sean Garris is the president of the Broman Club. But that's the type of play that you want to see out of an Omen, right?
Oh, no. Oh, Shazam goes in aggressive, and he's met by Dicey. And his bullets is taken out. Nitro gets in on the action as well. Dicey still from back of the site, continuing to pile it on. Sentinels just down to 2 members left. The spike has not made it on its site. It's quite frankly not anywhere close. As Sick is able to take care of Asuna. Looking for another one. Gets it, but is not around for long. Nitro gets the best of him. 100 Thieves up yet again by 4.
Eventually, the train needs to park in the station and refuel some of that coal firing the engine, and that is this round right here. Sentinels, a second gun round is upon us. This is their opportunity to bring the issue to 100 Thieves, who have been sitting pretty, but eventually, as I said, the train needs to recharge. And for 100 Thieves, this could be the round where the Sentinels finally take things back. And while we've seen the 100 Thieves really deal, 100 Thieves really deal with Sentinels with aggressive peaks like this, you know, but unfortunately sometimes it's got to give, and Asuna is not also going to be able to help out and avenge the death of his fallen comrade. Hiko will also step out one at a time. They will funnel out towards the middle, and it's all down to one final player. And just like that, the train has to refuel at the station.
Man, you called it at the beginning of the round, and it's exactly what happened. Sentinels still have all 5 of their players steal. The last one alive was able to take care of one, but Sick ultimately brings him his demise. Sentinels are on the board. That was a round that they needed to win, given the positioning of what they had and how that was an opportunity that they had to capitalize on, and that's exactly what they do. 100 Thieves here are going to be able to respond with some weapons, but certainly not what's ideal. We've seen a couple of early aggressive looks out of 100 Thieves, as you mentioned. But I wonder if, given that outcome, how that was another aggressive look that they got punished on, if it's time to kind of switch things up a little bit here.
I still think it can work. It just really depends on how it's executed. Dicey wasn't able to get that pick, as the blast pack was definitely a little bit more painful. And once again, we're looking at that exact thing right here. Dicey, unfortunately, in trouble. What a flash there. I don't even know where that came from. That might have actually been Hiko, unfortunately, flashing Dicey in the process. And that is really going to hurt in the long run. That's the Blade Storm gone. Another member will fall in the middle, right up the split. Now it's just down to 3 final players for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, they work their way at middle, cause a little bit of ruckus over on B, but Dapper has been over by A the entire time. So they're going to get plenty of information. You see the wall that's going to be going up as well to block off anyone rotating from the back side. Sinatra is able to take care of 2 on the side of 100 Thieves. They're going to have access to the site. They're going to have full control. Just Steel, yet again, on the outside, looking in. A 1v4 has the lockdown, but you can't imagine he's going to be trying to use that here with a Spectre. No less, this round is, for all intents and purposes, in the pockets of Sentinels.
Yeah, I think Dicey, if he finds a pick there onto Dapper, at least in the opening moments, they upgrade a weapon, they find something they can use, and maybe a couple more members of Sentinels fall, but the fact that that kind of goes sour, and Hiko did flash Dicey in the process during that,
well,
it is always up to Steel as he finds himself in these scenarios. They're just trying to drop down. They think he's playing towards the sewer side, but the fact that he takes 2 with him is exactly what the doctor ordered here for 100 Thieves. Sentinels bring that within 2. Still have several rounds left to go. 6 remaining. We've got a gun round potentially here for 100 Thieves. Well, it's not looking so great. They keep forcing up. The economy's got to bounce back eventually, and it might be the following round.
Yeah, Suna with the Spectre buying all the way down to 0. Nitro's going to have the Sheriff. Dicey's not going to have a rifle either. So it's a bit of a mixed bag for 100 Thieves. Sentinels is going to have full rifles across the board. We've talked about 100 Thieves and their aggression this time. Seemingly or tempered. No aggressive push B, nothing mid, no Blade Storm to put terror into the members of Sentinels. Just a far more passive look, and Steel not going to be in a 1vx at the end of the round because he's the first one to go down. Oh, Dicey. Oh, Dicey. Oh, Dicey, baby. He's able to get 2. He goes in. He gets what he was looking for, deals the damage, and gets out.
Oh, what do you mean, get out? What do you mean? I don't think 100 Thieves know the definition of that. I feel like I'm watching Complexity play. Never mind. Still a 3v3. Dicey's playing close. Nitro is just trying to provide a distraction. Say, okay, I'm the only one here. I'm the only one. Trust me. It's just me. I wanted to look inside. I paid the price. It's okay. It's just me. Dicey on the opposite side, though, has to play the patient game. The spike is right where he's located, so Sentinels have to play exactly correctly. Dapper is going to rotate around. Eco is coming to provide some additional fire support, but he's smoked off. So Dicey in an important position. He gets paranoid. Just waiting for his opportunity. The camera. Here he comes. He's got to get out of here. That's the updraft over. He still has time. He gets another one, but eventually gets taken down. Eco, the last player standing. Now it's Shazam chasing him down. The aerial classic with the headshot to the dome is going to send him down. I like the attempt from Dicey. Not going to lie. I like the attempt, but there's too many members from Sentinels, and even if he finds one there, they just trade. And they trade and trade and trade, and they win that round.
Right, it was a cheeky one. Unfortunately for him, best case scenario, the spike is sitting right at his feet, and all he has to do is hold that angle, but he was just outnumbered. He was overwhelmed, and he got taken out. Sentinels, things didn't look great for 100 Thieves early, or excuse me, for Sentinels early on. 100 Thieves came out of the gate swinging, but as you mentioned, the train had to stop. It had to reload or refuel or whatever it was that you said had to happen, but it has. It has happened. Sentinels are able to pull off 3 rounds in a row and get back into this thing. Certainly not out of the woodworks yet, and as we were mentioning, oh my gosh, Dicey gets popped right in the smoke.
Yeah. They're fighting for mid control, but they just can't seem to hold on to it. Yeah, the first couple of rounds probably shocked, Sentinels and how the 100 Thieves were playing those angles. But now they've got a little bit more control. They're just letting Sinatra and Shazam kind of do their job and find those opening frags, which is ultimately a problem for 100 Thieves. Because once we move on to that second half, that's probably where Suna and Dicey are going to be a little bit more comfortable. On the attack, they can play as aggressive as they want because that's your job. You're just trying to attack. But for this time around, it's not really working out as intended. Sinatra with the showstopper won't get to use it this round.
It's bait. It was just to draw attention over. And Sinatra's able to get the kill anyway. Yeah, it got traded out, but the spike's on the opposite side of the map. Furthermore, nobody from 100 Thieves is home. Sentinels are going to have full access to the site. There's that set wall that we've seen time and time again out of Sick. They have everything they want. The Rolling Thunder is going to be used to try to knock things up, and the spike did not go down. Furthermore, the lockdown was used. Now they have a decision. Do we sit in this? Do we get the spike down, or do we get out and back up? There's not a lot of room to work with your Simo.
How many players will get detained? 2 of them.
10
That's
seconds
actually
left.
a great opening here for 100 Thieves, but they need to push in. There's not a lot of time. They need to get active, and the
player
spike needs to go down, but they haven't started to plant it. Now it's starting to go down.
Spike
It's all
planted.
down to
No
Hiko.
way.
Just within the nick of time, Sentinels get the spike down. 2 members were locked down during that Killjoy ultimate. You don't get to see that because people usually respect it. But Sentinels, they hold fast. They stay in the back of sight. They close up that round. And now it's the gun round here for 100 Thieves.
That was so well played, and that's where we see some of the mind games, right, coming up from some of these squads. You make a lot of noise over on one side, you use an ultimate or a heavy investment, right, that would lead the defending team to think, okay, they're putting a lot of their eggs in this basket. That's where the site's gonna, or that's where the hit is going to be, excuse me. And sure enough, it's on the opposite side. That was a really pretty look from Sentinels there, and ultimately that swing from Sinatra as well over on B was a huge contributing factor to them pocketing that round.
An important battle is happening in the middle once again. Dicey looking for somebody, has the tailwind out to safety. Steel actually finds himself in an engagement. Now he's just gonna try to stay underneath. Guess who's dropping down? Oh, goodness gracious! Shazam will be taken down. But the resurrection puts Sinatra back into the mix. We don't get to see that too often because nobody plays Sage anymore. So now we have a 4v4 with Sinatra back into the fray.
The spike looks like it's going to be creeping its way around to B. The wall has gone up. The paint hands are there to deal severe damage onto Sick and take him out from the round. Take him out of the fray. The spike is harmlessly sitting on the entrance of the site as Sinatra's taken out as well. Nitro getting the best of him. Zombs up in heaven, however, looked like he had an opportunity to get something spicy down, but no. 100 Thieves stop the bleeding, and they take a 1-round lead.
Yeah, resources committed as well from the Sentinels front. They had that resurrection to try to bring Sinatra back into the fold and try to, close up a round and find themselves in a lead position. But 100 Thieves finally answer back for that 4-round in a row troubling time. And of course, Dicey's still back on the operator, still looking for aggressive looks. But this time, I think a little bit more respectable, where you'd normally find a Jet position. Back of A site, holding down the angle in B heaven, wherever it is. And this time, it's going to be that A site. So if they decide to push in, guess who's there? Boom! It's
shot.
Dicey. Sinatra's gone. And now they have a little bit more control to work with on this A site.
What a shot, in the cage now is there to provide a little bit of cover. It just went a bit too early. Shazam is able to win that operator battle as he takes care of Dicey. The spike not on the site quite yet. Nitro just on the other side of the smoke. He saw the smoke come out from Shazam. Get a little bit of info. Dapper goes in aggressive. He's able to take care of Asuna. That's such a pivotal choke point that he's worked his way up. There's no way at this point that somebody rotates in from B without him knowing. Hiko managed to get past it. He's on this side of things, on the A side of things, but there's still plenty of utility there to keep him at bay.
I think one of the most important things to know about Split is if you have heaven control, you don't actually have control of the site at all. You're in heaven. And that's far from where this spike actually deserves to be going.
Wow.
So now they're going to start to rotate through because they never got control of the A site. They don't know where Hiko and Nitro are playing. They might know, they might have an idea, but now it's all up to Steel. He hears a lot of that commotion start to come through. How many players is he going to find?
Well, and look, Shazam was
30
still holding
seconds
that
left.
choke point that we were talking about until just now. Now, members of 100 Thieves are starting to rotate over that way. Hiko has made it through, but the spike is down on the B site. Sentinels have full control. 100 Thieves running out of options.
2v4, a difficult task ahead for 100 Thieves. Not many rounds left. Would love to secure this one, put themselves up at 6-4, but understandably in a difficult position. Sentinels have done incredibly well the macro game this round, finding a couple of early picks as well, lurking up through A heaven. But now we're going to be looking at the destruction of the Thieves. Hiko, the last player standing, finds a pick at least onto Sick, will nullify some of that damage in the round. Now going to use that flashpoint to escape, but there's still going to be a player that's going to try to lurk him out. It's Dapper, who's going back down towards this area, towards that A heaven side. And Hiko is just going to survive and carry that weapon into the next round. 2 rounds remain, Doug, and we could see a 6-6, could see a 7-5. This half is close.
Certainly close indeed. Shazam once again is going to have the operator on the Jet. On the opposite side, not nearly the same firepower. Not really, and not even just guns. You look at armor, and there's a bit of a disparity there as well as we inch closer and closer to that halftime. Simo, I think the interesting thing about this map is, as we mentioned earlier on, there haven't been a ton of reps, so it's difficult really to predict how things could possibly go. 100 Thieves have been able to stand strong. However, out of some of these early aggressive looks, and here they're going to do it again. It actually wasn't Dicey with the blades who was able to get a kill. It was Asuna with the rifle. Nonetheless, the outcome was the same as Dicey is able to light up the kill feed with 2 kills, but Sick responds with 3 of his own. 100 Thieves just down to Hiko.
Yeah, what an important frag as well to find. Neural Tap's going to make things very difficult here for Hiko. He's going to try to use the fault line to buy himself some time. They know exactly where he's located, that this A site should be relatively clear to get that spike planted. But for some reason, they're going to trail over towards the B site. Hiko's going to be in the exact perfect spot to be a contact point here. But they're going to get the resurrection to really confirm this round. Maybe pull back towards the A site. They know that Hiko's not there, at least for the time being. Hiko now going to be able to start to chase after them. Unfortunately for them, Sinatra, wise, beyond his years. Well, as I say that, he says, okay, never mind, cancel that. Sinatra not wise beyond his years at all. I was going to say, yeah, cool, you look behind, great. No, no, no.
Perfect timing.
Yes.
Once again, as Sentinels take the 1-round lead, as once again we inch closer and closer to halftime. Once again, 100 Thieves not going to have ideal weaponry, while Sentinels will. They'll have plenty to respond with. They'll have plenty of money in the bank as well. 100 Thieves looking for something here across the middle of the map, but the spike is not fully committed from Sentinels on either site. Leaning towards A, but certainly not in tow right now.
Showstopper is going to allow Sinatra to clear out the site, and we'll usually see him do this with Phoenix as well. He just clears up so much space. Yeah, if the Showstopper's not used, that's fine, but a lot of players seem to respect it. We also have to understand that Asuna's got one of his own, and now he's going to try to clear back that ground that was covered. Showstopper won't find its mark, and not a lot of ground was covered as well in the process. He will, however, find a pick onto Dapper. We have to pay attention to learn Noms as he starts coming towards that head side. Nitro and Shazam, they'll find a couple of picks, and now Shazam goes vertical, but he's going to be dropped down by Nitro. This thrifty round is really running away for 100 Thieves. It's down to the 3v2.
And the spike is still not on the site. It hasn't made it anywhere. Really, down to the 2v2. Sinatra is able to win that swing as Asuna is taking out Nitro, the last one alive. 400 Thieves as they begin to blindly fire
30 seconds left
through the smoke. Nitro knows where the spike is. Sentinels with 30 seconds left are going to have to bust the move, Simo. They're going to have to get onto that spike. They're going to creep over, and if things remain, it's going to have to right behind Nitro. Oh, they know where he is. Zombs gets the best of them. They win that round. Sentinels take a 7-5 lead at half.
switching sides.
Solid stuff. They knew. They just knew. That's 6 tenths, you know? Spider-Man has it, and so do the Sentinels, apparently. But now, the half swaps. We don't have a lot of reps here from 100 Thieves to see what does their attacking side look like. Against Cloud9, it wasn't very strong, but for the Sentinels, they definitely love the defensive side of Split. 76% win rate rounds on the defensive side in the open qualifier, and 58% in the 1 round or the 1 map they ended up winning earlier on in the closed qualifier. But looking at some of these replays, it started off hot for 100 Thieves, but Sentinels definitely picked up some steam.
Yeah, they picked up some steam right on time. Really, it was... they might have won, what, 1 round since your train explanation? It was exactly what they wanted, but now we'll see what 100 Thieves can do on the attacking side. They're investing heavy over by B, and sure enough, Sentinels rotating this way. They dash on. Dapper's been flashed out. He's going to be met with a couple of bullets from Asuna and taken out. Asuna continuing to press the matter, but he's taken out by Sick.
Still doable for both sides, but as I say that, Shazam will dispatch 2 players accordingly. And once again, we've seen this quite a handful of times. It's all down to Steel in a 1v4. Got to get the spike down. Unfortunately, the spike is behind enemy lines. He's just looking for a pick. That's all he's looking for. And he's going to find it. Sick will feel that. Shazam finds the 3K in the round. And some teabags to boot. He finds those as well. Now Sentinels will start off with a successful pistol to catapult them into the second half.
Yeah, and if you're 100 Thieves, you've got to be real careful here about this one slipping out of their grasp. you know, with this pistol going down in favor of Sentinels, you imagine the next one very well might as well. Steel, you see him forcing up a little bit here. He's going to be bringing the Stinger, but this is just a very pivotal part in this map, folks. Like, depending on how this round and the following round go, we could already be looking at map 3 if 100 Thieves aren't careful.
Well, 100 Thieves try to cover all sides of the site as best as they possibly can. They split off from the tower and don't find much success. They're still going to start to push through, but the Sentinels have been there all along, one after another. A quick round. Move on to the gun round that 100 Thieves have been waiting for, at least for this specific half. They will have enough to buy or not. Wait, did they force up that round? No, that's unfortunate. So now it's going to be another round, I think likely, especially with Shazam on the operator here, it's going to be likely another round that 100 Thieves have to sit out.
Yeah, and the other thing is for Sentinels, they're going to be able to go into this round with just Stingers, right? They're going to have money that they're saving. Sick is already at 4,600 credits. Zoms has plenty as well. Like, financially speaking, I was trying to verbalize this earlier, but the financial implications of what just took place in the previous round and the result of it are drastic for 100 Thieves.
I haven't seen that wall in a long time. Trying to gather a little bit more intel. Now as they see 100 Thieves starting to funnel through, Six just going to mow him down, try to avoid the paranoia. That wall has been in phenomenal cover, at least for the most part. He does eventually end up falling. This down to one final player. Another quick round, and Sentinels sitting at double digits. This is an important gun round upon us. If 100 Thieves can't put this one together, it's likely that Sentinels can really run away with this half.
And it's been, for Sentinels, I mean, just look at how dominant they've been ever since round 5. They've just given up one over to 100 Thieves. Sentinels have been in firm control on both sides of the map. They've gotten everything that they've wanted, and that's what brings us to this 5-round lead. It hasn't been anything fancy or crazy, really. It's just been really fundamental play here from Sentinels. 100 Thieves on the attacking side. I know it's only been a couple of rounds, and the artillery hasn't been great for a lot of it, but they haven't shown much that have kept Sentinels on their toes.
I think we're going to see a lot of that wall in the middle, and it's really going to discourage 100 Thieves from pushing forward because they know Sick is playing there. If they're going to want to push in, they may want to think about a paranoia from Ramen up into heaven and then push in, something like that, but it doesn't look like Sentinels play towards that rope side either, so that might be a play that they can play in the playbook that they can run, but have to consider the factor of Asuna being a nuisance on that B side. Resurrection will put Sinatra back into the fray, so that frag was for naught, and Shazam finds another. 100 Thieves are falling apart.
Yeah, very quickly tipping in the opposite direction. Steel up in heaven across B, gets taken right back down at the hands of Sick. Nitro, however, is going to go a bit more aggressively. Hiko trying to assume the position that Steel had, and hopefully for him, brings some better success, and he does just that. 100 Thieves are going to be able to get onto the B side, drop things down to a 2v2 as Nitro and Hiko try to put a round up, try to stop some of this bleeding, the onslaught that has come from Sentinels. It's so far so good. Shazam, the last one standing, is going to drop down with the Sheriff, able to deal enough damage to take him out. A 1v1 as the spike continues to tick. Oh my gosh, Shazam with the 3K with the Sheriff gives Nitro the business and gets the defuse.
This might be like an obscure reference, but that felt like a staged frag, you know? From like the Asian reveals, it just felt like, you know, like it was like a stage setup. Like, you know, he was just gonna like turn around the corner and then Nitro was just standing there, darkness in his eyes, looking at the frag, looking at the death before him. That was just unfortunate. You know, I wonder if in his teleport he turned around, because when you teleport, you can prepare the angle that you want to look at, right? When you use that Omen ability, you can turn, like you can use it and then look the other way, and you'll be looking back at yourself when you teleport to the other side. I'm not quite sure why he wasn't prepared for Shazam there, but Shazam was definitely prepared for him. And that is a round that could have gone either way, and unfortunately goes the way of the Sentinels. That's not what you want if you're 100 Thieves. You want shots at redemption, and shots at closing this out 2-0, but it's likely now, seeing what Sentinels are bringing to the forefront on split, that we will likely go to that third map. 100 Thieves top in. Sinatra's been up there with the Odin. We know he likes to make that Odin go burr, but now 100 Thieves down a member, still want to hit this B side.
Yeah, you heard the Rolling Thunder was there to try to open it up, but there were no options. Asuna gets up close and personal, was able to disarm Shazam and take the spoils of war. Asuna with the showstopper is going to be able to get Sinatra out as well. The spike still on the outside of B. It hasn't worked its way there. 6 is going to spot 2, but Hiko's there to take care of him.
This is such an important round for 100 Thieves. Steel going to play contact on the heaven side. Dapper and company are going to be investigating the crime scene. Bodies on the floor. Now it's down to Detective Zoms. Paranoia comes through, looking for the culprits. He's going to find one up in heaven. Shots come through, down to 11 HP. It's a difficult shot to make, and he's got Thieves coming in all around. Nitro will find that last and final frag. 100 Thieves are still in this, but it's still going to be difficult. I like that lurking play from Asuna. I was paying more attention to the garage play and what was happening on that side. I didn't notice Asuna lurking up, but when I did, I saw Steel as well in the rope side. So they gathered a lot of control from 100 Thieves, and that ultimately benefited them. A good presence of mind from Asuna to wrap around.
Well, and I think too, from a financial perspective, for them to be able to take that operator, put it in the hands of Dicey without having to pay for it, and get the spike down, very important. Keep a close eye on Steel and how they choose to play this on the side of 100 Thieves. He was 1 point away from having the lockdown.
And every round, look at how much space 100 Thieves get. They just don't care. Like, Asuna is already down towards ropes. The rest of 100 Thieves are trying to gain control of this A site. Shazam is going to be a problem, though. You have to worry about Asuna. Oh, they go up the ropes. Don't anticipate him being there, but Sinatra's still behind you, so he's likely about to find Asuna as well. So far, they haven't traded. Dicey will find Shazam, and now Sinatra is dueling with the opposite raise. Asuna will take him down. Solid execution there. The smoke off of the mailroom allows Asuna to push up through the middle while the rest of the team fight off the A side defense. Well done from 100 Thieves.
And once again, they get a couple of extra credits in their pocket by putting that spike down. Hiko, not at the top of the scoreboard, but with 14 assists, is doing everything that his team needs him to. Meanwhile, it's Nitro who's leading the scoreboard. I don't know that we've said that a ton, but Nitro obviously showing that it's next man up for folks over at 100 Thieves. If it's not Dicey, if it's not Asuna, if it's not freaking Steel or Hiko, Nitro can fit that mold just fine, and that's exactly what he's doing. 100 Thieves still find themselves at a deficit. You talked about how much space they're able to get. Take a look at Dicey. He's just hightailing it over onto the side. He's able to get one, but the crossfire proves to be too much. Sick comes up from behind him. The wall's going to go up as well. You see the lockdown has been used to try to create even more space, and it looks like, no, nobody got detained.
They gave a lot of space, and now they've got their own showstopper as well. Sinatra going in. He is vertical. Oh, baby! That's going to be the double with the showstopper. Hiko, the last member standing. They know exactly where he's located, but they still have to deal with him. That's going to be 2 shots from Hiko, but it's the thrifty defense from Sinatra and company. I mean, I like the gusto. I like the aggression from 100 Thieves, but the trades is not what you want. You want to come out on top in that instance. Now we're sitting at match point for the Sentinels.
Oh, and that was so spicy, but I loved how Sentinels played that. Just focus on taking care of the defuse, right? All of the noise that's happening around them doesn't matter. Clear the site, get on there, and stick the defuse. Knowing that you've got a couple of members of 100 Thieves around the corner, it did not matter. Once again, Sentinels on match point here. They're going to have weaponry. They're going to have a couple of ultimates to work with as well. Or, well, excuse me, they're only going to have one. But Dicey, once again, playing aggressive with the Blade Storm.
Oh, Zoms peeks out. Dicey down to 11, and at least he's going to survive for the time being, and the smoke is going to allow him to cross safely if that's what he wants to do. Resurrection of Zoms puts him back into the mix. That is, when you don't see Sage for a long time, and then you see the resurrections come back in, you definitely feel how annoying it can be. I understand now how difficult that...
Oh, wow.
But he's going to lose his life regardless. He's already down. Asuna's going to find the Resurrector. But Shazam is still a nuisance down towards screens. They'll be able to get control. Guess who's up above? It's Asuna, but he doesn't notice. He's still going to find him anyway. Sinatra will trade it back out. The fight ensues on the heaven side, but they're planting that spike. Sinatra's getting involved. Nitro gets to safety. Now it's going to be the swing from both Hiko and Nitro. It's all down to Dapper. He's going to get flashed up as Hiko's got his robot arm stuck out to the side. Nitro will find Dapper, and now we're within 4. Still doable for the Thieves, but Sentinels on the precipice of closing this one out.
Yeah, and they've been playing with fire for the last few rounds, Simo. Regardless of what the score is, we've seen 100 Thieves very comfortable with playing aggressively, right? Like, they don't care about what's going on. They're going to stick to their game plan. They're going to continue to run at Sentinels over and over and over again. And for the last three of the last 4 rounds, it's proven to be exactly what they needed. 100 Thieves just showing resiliency in how they want to play. And look at how heavily Sentinels are stacking over by A. Nobody is home at B.
To be fair, the Sentinels don't really have the most ideal weaponry in-house. They're going to have to outsource that next round, but at the moment it's going to be a little bit more difficult to take the fight to 100 Thieves, who start to work their way up towards the center. They like this A-side hit. They like to gather that control. But look, there's an orb gathered here, so shot's going to be easy. But look at Dapper. As you called it, the shorty now upgrades to the Phantom. That's a problem. 100 Thieves came into this with the weapon advantage and are a little bit stuck now for what they want to do next. Down to a 2v2. Spike is going to hightail it through the sewers, but guess who's there waiting for him? It's Shazam.
Oh, and Shazam finds a weapon that is huge, Simo, but it looks like they're still focusing a bit more over to A. Meanwhile, the Spike Steel's going to get a chance, but Steel's got to land that shot. He's not going to get it. Shazam's going to dash forward, likely pick up the operator, or at least he has that option, should he choose so. It all comes down to Hiko. Hiko with an opportunity to extend the map, to keep this thing alive. He has the Rolling Thunder as he slowly creeps his way through
30 seconds left.
down ropes. It looks like he's going to go towards A. The problem is he doesn't have a ton of time to work with. Furthermore, Dapper's going to be waiting just on the other side. As soon as he swings out, Dapper's going to get a chance. Oh my gosh, he turned away at just the wrong time. Hiko's going to get onto site. He's going to get the spike down. It's going to be a 1v1.
And he's going to plant it wide out in the open. He's got the red carpet as well. We'll see now how he decides to position, but guess who's chasing him down? It's Shazam. The shot's good from Shazam. And Sentinels will take us to that third map. Hiko, almost with the heroics, brings 100 Thieves the 2-0 victory. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not entertained, we will be heading to that third map.
And 100 Thieves continue to lure us along. They were baiting us along. Like, we're still in this. We can do it. You got to stick with us. And they did up until the very end. But for Sentinels to win that on a thrifty round, no less, was just really impressive. Sentinels proving that they certainly belong in this, that the first map was, yes, good by 100 Thieves, but Sentinels can play with the best of them. And the swagger with which they're playing, too, is probably one of the most exciting things for me. You saw a couple of teabags, you saw a little bit of a body shooting and stuff like that. They're trying to send a message, hey, we're the Sentinels, right? Like, we're Sentinels. We're the best North American team, and we're not going to go down without a fight, seeding match or not.
Yeah, that has to be the case for the Sentinels. We're seeing that gusto come to the forefront, that swagger, as you highlighted. 100 Thieves, though, I don't think they're necessarily going to back down from this challenge. I don't really think Split is their best map when you see Hiko on the Breach instead of the Sova. Now, I understand that I really like him playing the Sova, but when you're swapping over to the Breach, you really have to play around the team, and I don't think we saw a whole lot of that. We just saw Asuna, we just saw Dicey kind of pushing forward, Nitro and Steel trying to set up them the best way that they could, but it didn't always pan out the way that they had wanted to. But fret not, we still have one more map left in the tank. It's going to be Haven, which we obviously saw 100 Thieves take down TSM on that map as well. We're going to throw to that after a short little break. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back after this.